It's the patients. It's caring for these military families and just, being here for them. I go home after I've helped a family and I'm like, yes, we were successful today. My name is Robyn Roche-Paull. I am an international board certified lactation consultant at Madigan Army Medical Center, and this is my Madigan story. So how did I get to Madigan? That's a long story. I am a United States Navy veteran, and when I was in the military back in the 90s, I was actually an aircraft mechanic. I was not in the healthcare field at all. I grew up quite a bit of a tomboy, followed my big brother around, loved working on cars, airplanes, all the rest of that. Funny, the new Top Gun movie trailer just came out, and it kind of took me back to the late 80s when I was in high school, and I saw the first Top Gun movie and was like, I want to do that. So I did. I joined the Navy, actually met my husband there, went on deployments. I was in the first group of women to be on the aircraft carriers after they repealed the combat exclusion law in '93, I think. So when the USS Eisenhower went out, I was on that first deployment when there was like only 400 or 500 of us on a ship that carries 5,000. So that was interesting, to say the least. And yeah, working as an aircraft mechanic, fixing the airplanes up on the flight deck, all of that good stuff. I have fun pictures, me in boot camp, getting my enlisted air warfare specialist pin. It's a lot of work behind that one. Those were some of the airplanes that I worked on, the A6 Intruder. I believe that was taken in the Adriatic Sea. We were off the coast of Bosnia, and let's see, what else? We came back from deployment with my sweetheart 20 plus years ago. And then, so in between deployments and onshore duty and stuff like that, of course, wanted to start a family. So we did. And again, kind of getting to my story, what kind of brought me into doing breastfeeding work and lactation work and all of that was having my first child on active duty. That's this guy, who's now 23. He's about 8 weeks old there. Struggled a lot with it. So at the time, you had 6 weeks of maternity leave, convalescent leave, that was it. And then you were pretty much worldwide deployable as soon as you came back off of your maternity leave. So struggling with being back at work in a very male-dominated field as an aircraft mechanic, not knowing a whole lot about all of this, dealing with what a lot of first-time moms do with sore, cracked nipples, mastitis. And at that time, there weren't really lactation consultants. You didn't really have anybody that was in this field. You had the Leche League leaders, which was my saving grace. I remember clearly, and I still remember her name, Lieutenant Commander Pennington at what was then Naval Hospital Portsmouth. It's Naval Medical Center Portsmouth now. She came into my room and I'm tears and I'm crying and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't do this, help. And she's like, I just came back from a weekend course on breastfeeding, so I'm gonna try to help you, but I'm telling you right now, I don't know a whole lot. And by the way, you might wanna go check out the Leche League that's right here in Portsmouth, Virginia. And they did, they helped me. I wish somebody would do something more about this, right? Why can't anybody advocate for these active duty moms and give us some guidance, give us some help? So, long story short, my enlistment came up. My husband's active duty too, doing this number, who's gonna stay in, who's gonna get out. Again, not a lot in the way, there were no regulations or policies covering breastfeeding like there is now, anything like that. So I said, well, I'm gonna get out, I'm gonna go back to school. That's gonna be the plan. So I did that. Became a board certified lactation consultant, did a lot of volunteer hours with the Leche League so that I could sit for the board, because it's a huge day-long board exam, and did some private practice work. But during my school time, I needed to have a project, right? A capstone type project. So my idea was, let's do breastfeeding in the military. Yeah, so I researched it, no information. Surprise, surprise. Started to pull resources together and stuff like that, came up with a little, what was supposed to be a pamphlet, ended up being like a 50-page PDF. Yeah, and that was kind of my capstone project. So kind of left it at that. Like I said, did a lot of private practice, actually got a job at the hospital I gave birth at. So got a job at Portsmouth Hospital, Naval Hospital, right? Which was kind of fun, going back to where I was before. And then got a call from the head of maternal child health at the time, the section chief, saying, we have an opening at Madigan. Would you be interested? And it was good timing because my husband was getting ready to retire. I'm from the West Coast, spent a lot of summers up here. We'd been talking about where we wanted to retire at, and the Pacific Northwest was it. So in a long way around, that's how I got to Madigan.